You guys are gonna have to fight over Animal Crossing as well in a couple of months.
yeah, totally. I'm gonna. What am I gonna play next? I'm actually gonna play the Call of Duty next. I've been meaning to.
I've heard it's. I haven't played it yet. People keep saying it's really good.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I think everything they do is great. So like, it's such a polished game. You know, like just the feel of the game. The last, the Blackout, Blackout 3. Wait, what was Blackout in?
God, is it 3 or 4?
I think it was 3 or 4. I don't know. That was my battle royale. Like,
right,
I'm pretty good at PUBG.
That's my go-to thing.
Yeah, I'm good at the banter. That game and alcohol will really get it.
20 minutes of fighting and collecting stuff, maybe we'll get killed by the other person.
But during that, we just plugged in the friend shop. So I like PUBG, and I really enjoyed it so much. I like Fortnite. Way better than I am. Blackout was the one as soon as I picked it up, I was like, this is going to be the one that's awesome. And certainly, man, I played that like crazy. I loved that game. I thought it was amazing. Just everything I wanted, the speed and feel. I always said that, but if someone could polish a Call of Duty game, but put it next to the game, oh my god. This is it. This is what I want to play. So I've been on that pretty hard for a pretty long time. But the next is Call of Duty. No, what am I saying? I want to play the game today.
I'm not talking to you about this, but most times we interview, we're like, what games are you playing? They're developing. They're like, I haven't played for 4 years.
I have no choice. The worst thing you could be is a game director that stops playing games. That's when I'll hang it up. You know,
it's like a chef that's not eating.
You got to go to different restaurants. You got to see what's going on. I usually have my iPad out because I'm getting so many ideas every time. But it's like going to everything. Like I kind of have my phone notepad is just a running, just random thoughts about things that I see or something that I think could work for Doom.
Not sick of making games yet then?
No, never. I honestly, I used to work in film, and I have a lot of friends who work in film. I just think games are where it's at. When I look at the worlds, like I think what you could do in games now is it's insane, and we're allowed to do so much more. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, they could never make that as a movie. They would be like, let's call it Thor, the robot world, and let's make it like a female Thor.
Yeah.
Like they always want to slap a brand on it, and they'll handcuff you for days. Like well, we can't do this, and we can't do that. Like that is such a just unbridled imaginations let loose. And you and I geeked out about that game. That's one of my fucking favorite games. I love that game. But that can never be made into a film. That's why I think games are so amazing right now. Like you could just do anything. Fallen Order was so good. And granted, they had to, serve the master. I'm sure they had a million meanings. But Cyberpunk, like seriously, like the question is, do I want to watch Blade Runner for 2 hours, or do I want to live in Blade Runner for 200 hours? Like there's no question. And like just the trailer alone, and honestly, from a designer standpoint, because I've worked in film, it's like, when you have to design something that's going to be used for 200 hours by a player and be seen from every possible angle, and every ounce of the designs have to be worked out. And as a result, I think you get better designs. Like that car that he gets into in that commercial, like someone build that car. Like, but if that was a movie, you're like, yeah, you're going to see the car for like 5 minutes. There's going to be smoke and sparks and robots flying around. Like no one's really going to
It's like the Blade Runner thing. We'll do more smog machines, right?
Yeah. And granted, Blade Runner definitely pushes the bar, but in a lot of cases, you see that I shouldn't say this is not for everything. I think the Marvel films there's plenty of films that are definitely pushing the envelope. I have a lot of friends who work at Marvel, and they are doing some stellar work. I think the design in Marvel films is just spectacular. I just think from an IP perspective, you can do way more than Horde, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's amazing how to be here. Cyberpunk looks amazing. I just can't wait to be there. I don't even care what I do. I would deliver the mail, like I'd be a UPS guy. I just want to walk around.
Awesome. Hugo Martin, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us.
Thank you.
When is it out? March 30th?
March 20th, and the trailer drops tomorrow, and I really liked it. Did you like the trailer?
I did like the trailer. It dropped yesterday for somebody who's watching this. If they're watching it.
So, oh yeah, that's right. It's the future, yeah. It is. Yeah, it's new technology.
Horde.
It's not live, that's right.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome to see what the reaction is to that as well. Like, I've been binging on a lot of Doom lore recently, and I think
You're gonna like, there's a lot of good. There's
there's a promise. Hugo, thanks so much for coming in, and yeah, best of luck in the rest of the song.
All right, thank you very much.
So recently we've had a lot of big leaks about the GTA, what do you call it? I was going to say GTRP, about the GTA 6 leaks, and apparently there's one person who's outing themselves. It's essentially one of the leaks, I'm not really sure exactly, but we're going to go ahead and look into this.
So it kind of sucks that I have to make this video. Subject of today's story. I spoke to him not long ago on his YouTube channel, Dan Allen Gaming. He invited me over for an interview about my voiceover career, my YouTube career, and I thought we had a really nice chat, a fun chat.
That's
so
nice.
To see the headlines surrounding what Dan Allen did was definitely disappointing. So here's what you need to know about this YouTuber who was outed as an insider who's been leaking stuff, information that was trusted to him with NDAs and embargoes that he decided to, you know, violate for clout. And
I don't know why people do this. Like, why would you violate the NDA? It's like literally killing the golden goose. Because it's like, the odds are that the companies are not going to press charges on you. They're not going to go and sue you. But still, why would you fucking violate the NDA? It doesn't make sense.
You know, he essentially started this alternate account called The Real Insider, through which
my God.
You know, anonymously
That's
leaked
so
information
stupid.
that was entrusted to him through the Dan Allen Gaming platform. So it all began when Dan Allen made the grave mistake of not switching to his other account, The Real Insider.
What a fucking idiot. What an absolute fucking idiot. Yeah, like, so, it's like, I thought that, you know, like, maybe, like, one of these big companies did, like, some IP investigation and, like, cross-referenced the IP to, like, his Discord IP address, and then, you know, maybe they fed different content creators different types of information so they could narrow it down, like Tyrion in Game of Thrones, and it's like this fucking, like, five-head thing to fucking just corner and trap this Dan Allen individual, but no, it apparently, he just fucking own-goaled himself. Alright, that sounds good.
Instead of responding as The Real Insider, you
Yeah.
see he responded using his Dan Gaming.
Someone else.
No, someone else, he tweeted, and shortly after the tweet was deleted.
I would have done the same. I would have deleted that tweet too.
Mistake, but it was too late. You can see right here, The Real Insider account is now deleted because the jig's up, and people pointed out forgot to change the account.
Yeah.
And that's when people began to connect the dots. Wait a minute.
Wow.
The Real Insider, Dan Allen Gaming. It wasn't long before the games industry caught on. Here's Marcel Hatton, a brand manager who noticed this tweet.
It's like, also, like, if you're leaking something that's like, let's say the game wants to, like, let's say, like, the game wants to add in NFTs in, like, the last minute. They're like, okay, I want to, like, fucking start up some fucking bullshit, and you know, you hear that this is going to happen and it's NDA, and you feel like you have a moral obligation because you find that NFTs are like unethical or something like that, and so you feel like you have a moral obligation to leak something to the public. I think that's a gray area. But just telling people what's in the games before the developer wants you to, who is this, like, who are you helping besides your own ego? What is this? It's subjective. I'm not saying, listen, all I'm saying is I didn't say it was white or black, I said it's red, okay? So I'm not agreeing with that either. I'm just saying that you have a stronger case than just leaking information about video games. What the fuck?
warned everyone that this might be very relevant for my PC and marketing friends and peers. There seems to be a suspicion that Dan Allen Gaming may have been behind the recent anonymous leak of information. It might be interesting to cross-reference with leaks. It wouldn't take long before various news outlets began to report on this, like News Outlet, ironically titled Insider Gaming, reporting on the real insider. The bizarre twist in the first Dan Allen Gaming is apparently the real insider following the he also already detailed how he forgot to change special targets insider when he responded to inquiry at Dan Allen Gaming has also been deleted. That seems to be the
Oh my god, so he's just deleting everything. Well, I think that, like, I mean, really, Twitter would have to delete the account. It's a weird situation, right? Because, like, the guy's using Twitter to commit a crime. Like, breaking NDA is committing a crime. So whenever he's using Twitter to commit a crime, I mean, I feel like Twitter kind of has to ban it. Yeah, I mean, shit. Trying to hit the reset button? Yeah.
If you're innocent, you make that on. You know you've been got, then yeah, you're account, and it quickly dawned on the games industry that the apparent mistake from Dan has meant he's very likely been caught breaking NDA information that has been signed. The real
Nibik, it's a civil matter, not a civil case. Yes, I know that, but it would make sense that he would delete it because, like, let's cut to the chase, right? The guy's leaking information that he's signing documents. The reason why you sign these documents is so people can be bound to some sort of circumstance and they get punished for doing it. So if he doesn't fucking follow the legal document, they can sue him, they can sue him for damages, they can sue him for breach of contract, etc. Yeah, he's not going to go to jail or anything like that, but at the same time, there are going to be bad things happening. So it's like, it makes sense that he would delete his account because he wouldn't want to have any evidence for that. Now, obviously, this doesn't really help, but you're talking about a person that accidentally posted on their fucking insider leak account, on their main public account. So this is not a person who has... There's not a lot of horsepower, okay?
insider following all these insider. The real insider is no longer a Twitter account that's active, but using way back machines actually take a look at some of the most recent tweets. On September 6th, the real insider...
I mean, look at this piece of shit. Like, he's coming in 2023, no real estate just yet. Yeah, like, he's not releasing anything that's for the best interest or the good of the public. He's not saying, oh, well, they're trying to fucking, like, add in NFTs to this game or something like that, or they're trying to, you know, make it pay to win. No, bro, he's just fucking, like, just posting shit for likes. Just wants to be cool, yeah.
Look at some of the most recent tweets. On September 6th, the real insider tweeted the titles of upcoming Assassin's Creed projects correctly before they were announced by Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC, Assassin's Creed Codename Red, Assassin's Creed Codename Jim.
And the guy goes and he's fucking, he's even using co-opting their hashtag to get more interactions on this account. Likes are worth nothing.
X the game finally. Dodge, we know now, of course, that these should be 100% accurate. And I believe the way he got a hold of this information is through an invitation that Ubisoft sent out to various media outlets. Creators actually got this invitation to essentially watch a preview of what they'll show at the Ubisoft stream.
This happened at Blizzard, and somebody leaked the Blizzard one too. The one that got leaked at Blizzard was the Thrall cinematic where Sarfang goes to the Grand to get Thrall, and then the assassins try to attack him. Like that's so like this happened at Blizzard too. I really hate how people leak shit. It makes me so annoyed because it makes the companies less likely to tell other people stuff, and like I want to know what's going to happen, what's going to be going on. Like, why leak? I don't understand it. Like, I'll tell you, like, I was one of the only people, like, at Blizzard, we're not active, like, so they told me about Classic WoW before it got announced, and they said we were the first people outside of the company that was supposed to know about it. Bro, I never even signed the NDA. Because I never checked my email, right? But I never said a fucking word. I didn't tell anybody anything. Because if I do that, then they're not going to fucking invite me back again. They're not going to tell me anything about the next one. Why do content companies tell content creators this info? Well, the reason why they told us that info is because we were going to do Wallcraft at BlizzCon. They had paid us to do Wallcraft at BlizzCon. And we had to know the information because Wallcraft was going to be like an hour after the announcement. So they had to tell us a little bit ahead of time so we could structure the show. So that's why. Like, they had to do it.
And I couldn't attend. I was just not available for without the event take place. So I didn't attend that. But it seems like that Dan Allen got the invitation.
Yeah. That's what it is, bro. Like, it makes him feel important. That's, I hate even thinking that, but I know you're right.
Tuned in, took notes on all of that information. Decided to break NDA, decided to break the trust that the developers placed on him by inviting him to this event that was confidential. Also relevant are some of these tweets down here, like Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid Remake. And David Hayter knows that seemed to hint that he knew something about an upcoming Silent Hill project or an upcoming Metal Gear Solid Remake project. This will become more relevant later in the...
Yeah, it's like this guy is acting like he's anonymous, exposing fucking Jeffrey Epstein. No, you're not, you fucking loser. You're just sitting around telling people when the release date of video games is gonna be. You're not a spy. You're not a espionage agent. It's so annoying. This secret agent.
Video, but scrolling back up, you'll find tweets like this one, codename Red, with a partial image of art of Assassin's Creed Red, which we now know takes place in Japan, which is exactly what the real insider was hinting at here. And as we keep scrolling up, you can see that, yeah, the real insider continued to leak stuff and continued to break NDA.
Yeah, and again, I want to draw attention to the fact that none of these things are for the good of the public. None of these things are like exposing something bad that's going on or anything like that. It's all just clout chasing.
And kind of started stuff with media outlets and whatnot, with Jason Schreier, for example, who believed that the Assassin's Creed leaks that the real insider leaked were fake before he realized, wait, you're right.
And then he wants to, he wants to like think that he's smarter than Jason Schreier. Like, it's just, it's so, like, never forget, like, wow, never forget the fact that you broke NDA. Yeah, wow, somebody didn't believe something with no evidence. I can't believe it. He thinks he's that guy.
Through the grapevine that the leak might be real. But even when Jason apologized and admitted he was wrong about this one and corrected himself, the real insider decided to make a whole song and dance about this and tweeted, never forget.
Of course he did, because it fucking makes him feel important and smart.
Kind of started provoking media outlets and journalists, and that would come to bite him in the butt. That I'll get to in a bit as well. He leaked the fact that media outlets and content creators were invited to a hands-on event for Forspoken, which did indeed happen. I was invited myself, and I shared my impressions on the game. So on and so forth, just continued on this streak. He pretended to know God of War information by tweeting Kratos with a smile as if he had insider knowledge about an upcoming state of play, so on and so forth. So yeah, this is
it's just like, look at this, bro. Like, this is straight up fucking 2010 anonymous levels, but they're not fighting to like actually, you know, expose some sort of government corruption. They're not trying to help the public know what, the people in power don't want them to. This is just like, it's just this loser that's telling people whenever a game is gonna come out. It's just sad. It's just fucking sad. Yeah. Imagine the power trip this guy was on.
Kind of the Twitter setup he went for with this enigmatic Twitter account that would serve as the match that would lead to his undoing. Dan Allen Gaming eventually realized that the jig was up. There was no way he could slip out of this one, and confessed by tweeting the following image where he said, "I'm sorry to everyone for my actions. I'm ashamed and disappointed in myself. I'll be taking some time to reflect on my poor decisions, which will never occur again. To everyone that has supported me over the years, I'm truly sorry I let you down." Now, people...
I think that's a fair apology. Let's be honest. Like, I've seen a lot of... Listen, I am a connoisseur of YouTube apologies, these different things, like all this stuff. It's very simple. He kept it very, very short. He's like, I fucked up. I know I fucked up. It's my fault. I'm sorry for disappointing you. I'm going to stop making content for a while. Right? I think that's the best way to do it. Dude apologized because he got caught? Oh, yeah, of course he did.
People immediately criticize the fact that in this confession, he doesn't actually confess to what exactly he did. He just kind of vaguely says, "I'm sorry." And there are also plenty of reactions along the lines of, "You're not sorry for what you did, you're sorry that you got caught."
That's what
this confession doesn't come from you realizing that what you were doing was wrong and you deciding to come forward yourself. This was triggered by the fact that you got caught, and you probably would have continued on this role of breaking NDAs and abusing the trust of developers for clout had you not gotten caught. So
true.
For many, the apology came off as a bit empty.
I think also the fact that he didn't actually explain what he did, that might be like he's trying to compartmentalize it around only the people that are aware of what had happened. So it's like there's going to be people that aren't paying attention to all this news, and they'll be on his Twitter, and they'll be like, what did he do? Oh, I don't know. You know, it's like whatever. See what I'm saying?
In that area, you'll find a thread that chronicles this whole situation. I've already talked about all of this, but there is this other Twitter user who noted how Jason Schreier, who you may recall that Dan Allen as the real insider decided to provoke, Jason Schreier decided to kind of look into this, and there are plenty of screenshots of him highlighting some interesting coincidences that further link Dan Allen Gaming to the real insider. So right here we have Jason Schreier noting that if this is legit and looking through both accounts, they sure seem to tweet about the same games around the same time. It would explain how this real insider knew the Assassin's Creed codenames. He broke the embargo himself.
Yeah, like this guy is like, man, you know, I've heard around the grapevine. It's like, yeah, I bet you did because they told you. Yeah, it's just nuts, man.
He didn't get this information through sources who decided to leak information to him. He was the direct recipient of this information. Ubisoft trusting that with a signed NDA that he wouldn't disclose this information.
I still think that it is bad. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong on this. I think that you're still in the wrong if you're disseminating NDA'd information knowingly. Like, you know the information is NDA and you're posting it and you're showing people anyway.
Gave him a sneak peek of upcoming Assassin's Creed announcements that Dan Allen then decided to leak, breaking the embargo and the trust that was placed on him. Jason continued to highlight similarities between Dan Allen Gaming's tweets and the real insider tweets. Both of them tweeted about Saints Row right around the same time.
Wow.
He noted hold
up.
Tweeted about...
Is Saint Row's the game of the year? Saints Row is looking very, very rough. Wow. So he just goes from one account to the other.
Saints Row right around the same time. He noted right here how Dan Allen tweeted about Metal Hellsinger before the real insider leaked the entire track list. Not to mention that...
What a fucking loser, man. That's amazing. Like, wow. That's... It's like you really don't get... Like, I'm so glad that Jason Schreier is fucking, like, just completely hammering him on this shit, too. I think this is so good. Because, like, you don't want to have this clown going around with this fucking superiority complex because he's smarter than people that weren't told something in confidence and didn't leak it. You know, yeah, absolutely fucking stomp his ass.
Dan Allen Gaming has the entire track of Metal Hellsinger on his YouTube channel, and that coincides with how the real insider knew about the full track list before everyone else did, or leaked the full track list before that information was made public outside of NDAs and embargoes. Jason Schreier further highlighted how, in addition to the tweets and videos about the same topics at around the same time, the two accounts also have very similar writing patterns, including the capitalization of random words. Jason Schreier...
My fucking man, he found it. So you can see here, right? And it's like the guy is... another thing, it's... The guy is a moron, so it's always easy to catch morons because morons do things that are dumb. You see, like, so it's like several media outlets, content creators, like Forspoken, like this content creators is not a proper noun.
It's Jason Schreier also admitted that part of why he's going so hard on exposing Dan Allen Gaming as the real insider is because, well, normally I wouldn't care about who's pretending to be what insider, but the guy decided to.
That's right. Fuck around and find out. I love it. That's exactly right. You want to fucking start shit and get your ego involved? Nope. Exactly it. Yeah. Straight up, this is the. To be fair, this one's actually kind of raw. You know, it's a slightly more professional version of fuck around and find out.
Dark shit. The lesson being that if you've actually done something wrong and it's something that can be investigated, don't provoke an investigative journalist. That's not going to end well for you.
And if you do want to provoke an investigative journalist, you should do a better job. I mean, with like what you're doing, like you should. I don't know. Maybe like you could virtual desktop it. You could VPN it. You could use it on another computer. You could use one browser for one account and the other browser for the other account. So there's never a possibility that this could ever happen. Like there's a lot of other ways that you could do this, but you know, there it is.
Schreier further explained how he thought that the real insiders leaks were fake because Assassin's Creed Hex was once upon a time known as Assassin's Creed Neo before it was changed to Hex. He did say, my bad, you're right, my apologies. He did confess he was wrong when he said the leaks were fake, but the real insider decided to start shit by saying never forget and like highlighting how wrong Jason Schreier was.
Fucking
so
shit on him.
This is, I guess, Jason Schreier's retribution. Now, it's not just Jason Schreier who did some investigating. Here is Twitter user The Man, and I don't know if these screenshots were taken by him or if they're secondhand, but either way, the information is relevant. Dude, you're not even sorry, says The Man. You tried to lie about it and cover it up when you first got exposed. You're only sorry because you got caught lying and your relationship with the gaming industry is absolutely done for. And checking out these screenshots, you can see.
I think that, I do think that he's not really sorry. I think that's definitely true. Now, saying that I'm not sorry and I'm only sorry that I got caught, I think that it's as simple as, you know, I'm sorry for disappointing everybody, right? I did something that was obviously wrong and, you know, like that, there it is. It's just, I think that with most things like this, unless it's something like super fucking serious, keeping it short and sweet is the best option. Because the more lines you have, those are the more things that people could say, yeah, but why'd you say this?
See how implicating they are. Dan Allen Gaming right here is pretending that I don't know what to do. I'll get in serious trouble for no reason. This is really stressing me out.
Wait, what?
Please do not spread false rumors about me. This could affect my livelihood. I'm not the insider, he insisted initially. I have never broken an embargo in my life, so on and so forth. Even on Twitter, he decided to...
How could it get him in serious trouble if it's just not him? You know what I mean? Like, how would you just not... Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's not me. And so, yeah, that's about it.
Play coy initially by saying, please do not spread false accusations about me. Cheers. And so that just makes his initial text apology look that much emptier.
Yeah.
And yeah, since all of that kind of transpired, a number of media outlets have picked up on the story, like Kotaku here, who also highlighted the difference between...
Who's the face they used?
Picked up on the story, like Kotaku here, who also...
Oh, God.
So highlighted the difference between, you know, a journalist who investigates for the sake of providing audiences relevant information that could be of public interest, versus just deciding to break NDA, to break the trust that developers place in you with confidential information for the sake of clout. There's a difference between when a journalist uncovers information they consider to be of public interest.
That's exactly what I said,
the world, and when a person agrees to an embargo, an NDA, and a company shares information under the assumption that the details won't be disclosed until a specified date and time.
Well, it's also like, even if you're disclosing something the company would have announced, it's like if you're disclosing it and you say that it's like, you know, this game is going to have like blockchain tech or something like that in it that's like manipulative, and it's going to be like weird in that way, or it's going to have a thing where it has to be on the metaverse, or anything that you feel would be against the best interest of the public. If you announce that or you say that earlier, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But the problem is that some of these people, they just say whatever they want because they want to get clout out of it. That's what it is. Apology videos up on his channel, by the way. If you're interested in YouTube apologies, it's different. Yeah, maybe.
There's certainly a difference between
yeah,
uncovering...
like, or they have like a rootkit for like an anti-cheat, and then like the company's been involved with like another company that's been selling data, right? Like there's a lot of examples where announcing something and like breaking NDA would be, in my opinion, the ethically good decision, but this is not one of them. Like not a single leak that he's done to break NDA was ethical, in my opinion, at all.
Information like a company rife with a culture of abuse, misconduct, harassment, and discrimination, and letting the public know for the sake of bettering the games industry versus being entrusted with information for the sake of potential future coverage of a game and deciding to ruin all that for the developers who worked hard on presenting their game right by leaking information in a way that wasn't meant to be presented by the developer.
Exactly, yeah. And so as an IP lawyer, I'm curious to see what legal action is taken against them, if any. I feel like most of these cases, these companies don't want to deal with the legal action against them. It's too much work. The guy didn't leak anything that like really harmed the game. So it's like, why are they, it's not a good use of their time. It's just they're never going to do anything with him again. That's all. They're just like, okay, you cheated, fuck you, get out of here.
And within those leaks that are more for clout, there is a difference between
just get blackballed.
obtaining that information from sources and you not having signed NDAs versus you being the direct recipient of that information through the signing of an NDA, which can
you might say it.
And get you in legal trouble.
I was going to say, as somebody, I don't know, like if the IP lawyer guy is still here or not, my understanding is that even if you verbally consent to an NDA, or somebody asks you, will you not share this, and you say yes in a verbal conversation, that verbal contract can still function as an NDA. It depends on the state. Yeah, see, like that's what I'm not sure about. Like I've heard that before, but I don't know what the extent of that is. Verbal contracts can bind you. Yeah. It's harder, I mean, like, let's be honest, it's much harder to prove. How can they prove that? There's a lot of ways. If there are witnesses, if it was recorded, if the person admits to it themselves, there's many ways.
Gaming companies decide that Dan Allen Gaming has done enough damage to them. Dan Allen Gaming may very well get sued to hell.
Nah, and probably not do that.
Yeah, the evidence is pretty incriminating against them.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have a strong case if that were to take place. And Ubisoft, I mean, they certainly weren't happy about the way Assassin's Creed titles and surprises were leaked, so who knows what actions they'll take. Now, after all this went down on September 19th...
I think that really they're probably not going to do anything like that unless they... unless he causes tangible damage to the company. I think that, like, for example, like leaking all the GTA stuff is like much more damaging than leaking the name of a game.
The following day, on September 20th, Dan Allen did publish a more proper apology where he just said, I'm sorry, and, you know, judging from the likes to dislikes ratio, it seems as though Dan Allen Gaming has a lot of work to do before he can win back the trust of his fans. In terms of the games industry's trust in him, I don't think he's ever getting that back. I don't think any company will ever trust him with any confidential information ever again. I think if the guy spends like 5 or 7 years, you know, like reformed without any kind of like bullshit or drama, and it seems like he's doing things, he's conducting himself in an ethical manner, people will probably tell him some information again, and then it'll kind of just gradually happen, and he'll probably be able to come back and be okay from this. But there's going to be a lot of people, like, I'll tell you one thing, personally, if somebody did this to me once, I mean, why would I take a risk with company trade secrets with somebody who there's even a 1% chance will leak it? You know what I mean? Like, why would, like, think about it from, like, the company's perspective. There's, like, 1 million YouTubers out there. Why tell the one YouTuber that's been accused of leaking stuff already? Also a channel that does a lot of interviews with, you know, voice actors and industry folks. I don't know how many of those folks would feel comfortable returning to his channel to do interviews. I mean, who knows what the future holds, but you know, for now, all we know is that Dan Allen Gaming did publish this apology, this video, which is 5.5 minutes long. And the footnotes of what he conveyed in this video is that he admitted to creating the alternate account, The Real Insider. He admitted to leaking information he got through NDAs like the Assassin's Creed titles that he put out there through this alternate account, pretending to be somebody else. He admitted to posting tweets like the Metal Gear Solid remake and Silent Hill tweets just to generate false hype. He actually has no tangible information on that front. And reflecting...
What? Why? Oh my god. Oh my god, why do you do this? What are you doing? What are you doing with yourself? It's so weird. What an asshole. Yeah, like what a fucking, like what an idiot. Like it's just like it's the funny thing about this guy is that he's a moron, right? So he's pretty much harmless. But it's still just crazy that somebody would go off and do that kind of stuff, man. It's nuts.
On my interview with Dan Allen Gaming, he did try to ask me about if I knew insider information about
Power
an upcoming Metal Gear Solid remake. Yeah.
Have you heard anything about that remake behind the scenes? Because I've heard it's in development. And
what do you mean? Like, why would you even ask that question if it's on a live stream? Like, what do you think? Like, I guess this guy is projecting, because every time somebody asks him that question, he just leaks it. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, do you want to leak anything on the podcast here? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty close, but I don't know what you've heard.
And, you know, after discovering all of this about him, I have to question whether he was just shooting the shit or whether, you know, he had ulterior motives. It's hard to say. You know, it's hard to, you know, trust someone when this is how they comport themselves, you know? So I don't know what to say on that front. It just makes you think, you know? And he also admitted that half of his tweets hinting at potential upcoming leaks or potential upcoming announcements, there were more educated guesses than anything else instead of, you know, actual confirmed insider information. He also confessed that the reason he decided to do all this is for clout and buzz because he...
Thank you. I'm so glad that he just comes out and says it. There's no like, well, I felt like I had a responsibility to the gaming industry and the gaming community. No, he's just like, yeah, I was doing it for clout. It's like, all right, thank you. Thank you for not giving us the runaround. I appreciate it.
Became addicted to the attention of thousands. He does say in the video that he knows it's pathetic and that it was stupid and that he's taken for granted the access that he's gained through the hard work that he did on his channel. That's what what especially gets me about this. The man clearly worked very hard to establish his channel, to get it where it's at now, and to throw all that away for clout that he already has, given the repertoire of guests that he has under his umbrella. I mean, the kinds of interviews that he got to do, you know, few people get to do those. I don't know how much more clout you can ask for. He says in the video that, you know, he makes...
And it's also like a lot of the tweets that he made were not like, it's like, it got like 100, it's like, man, we doing numbers out here. It gets 98 likes.
He says it's his responsibility, it's 100% his fault, and he apologized to his fans for disappointing them, for letting them down. He apologized to PR companies and developers who's trusted him with confidential information, who assumed that, you know, he would abide by some embargoes for access to information that he can then talk about however he wants. To journalists and media outlets, he apologized as well for, you know, starting shit with them, like with, you know, Jason Schreier and whatnot. And he also especially apologized to content creators for making their lives harder than it already is. And that's
actually true, right? Because like if like every one of these like companies is going to be more tight-lipped with talking about stuff like this now that they had this dude go out and run his mouth.
Part of why I'm making this video, because Dan Allen Gaming's actions do affect all of us, because we already, as, you know, influencers, as we're known, or content creators, whatever label companies want to give us, we already have a hard time getting access to things. We have to work that much harder, whereas media outlets, by default, get access to exclusive information, exclusive behind-the-scenes looks, exclusive previews, and the like. And so for Dan Allen Gaming to do something like this, to get himself exposed, it gives all of us influencers and content creators a bad rap.
Yeah.
Because we're treated as a separate category from traditional media. We, again, have to work
why,
harder
yeah.
to earn the trust of companies, to gain access to, preview content that will allow us to talk about games before a game launches. That way we can provide you with information before the launch day comes, when you have to make that decision of, do I buy this or do I save my money? And now
it's super important for reviewing a game, because like if you can't play the game ahead of time, it is actually like, if you imagine being a game reviewer and like everybody wants to see on day one, is this game worth playing? So, and this is also like a problem with like access journalism. And so like if you give previous games bad ratings, people worry that like, oh, well, I won't get, future copies of the new games. So I only give good ratings to all games. That's why you see like all these games that are just like not very good that still get like an 8 or a 7 or something like that. Nothing ever gets like a 2 or a 3. And like I watched videos about this before. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a big issue. It is, because you have people, day one, they want to see a review of the game, and for content creators, it's important to have that competitive advantage because other places have that. And this guy makes it harder to do that. It sucks. Donkey talked about this? Yeah. A single streamer shouldn't get review copies, just only IGN, only a good media source that does best reviews. Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Is that I think that like streamers that have, I do think streamers should get earlier copies if they're functioning as review outlets. Like, I feel like there's no real difference in my mind between, like, an organization like IGN and a game reviewer like, like Jim Sterling or something like that, It seems fine.
With this whole Dan Allen gaming situation, there is the possibility that all of us content creators will be negatively impacted because companies might become
it's a fact.
more distrustful
it's
of content creators in general because of the actions of one man who decided to poison the whole well. Hopefully developers who have been following this story will realize that the majority of us aren't like this. I have never broken an NDA. That's something that I do respect, both for the developers and because, when I sign a contract, I make the conscious decision, understanding the conditions, and, I look at that contract, make sure that it's reasonable, and I sign it and I uphold it because, I'm a man of my word. And it's through...
I just do it because I want them to tell me stuff next time, too. And if I go around running my fucking mouth and it gets back to them, they're not going to tell me anything the next time. So it's like, I can't go around talking about this shit because then I won't know about the next shit. It's that simple.
For NDAs and embargoes, that we find a place to meet in the middle with developers so we can, talk about their games and give you access to early information so you can have more information before you make what I hope is an informed decision on a game purchase. And so it's just frustrating when someone as privileged as Dan Allen goes out like this and decides to make life harder for all of us, and not just even content creators and influencers or whatever. I'm also talking about the developers themselves. I have a deep respect for, the ground floor developers, the passionate artists who, are there pouring, blood, sweat, and tears, just working their asses off on a game. And, I feel for them when, an exciting reveal gets ruined by
sucks.
A leaker who was just chasing clout and not actually trying to provide
provide
information that was vital for audiences to know before that information was made public. This whole situation just sucks for everyone, and it certainly especially sucks for Dan Allen Gaming. I don't know what the future holds for him, his channel, his career. Will he be able to come back from this? I don't know, but trust.
I think that he'll still be able to make videos, and there'll just be people that watch the videos, and everybody will know it's like, hey, it's the guy that leaks stuff. Like, it's not like he'll never be able to live this down or anything like that, but he's certainly not going to be getting inside info again. Like, that's probably not going to fucking happen, at least not for a very long time.
It's certainly something that's going to be very difficult for him to win back. He does say in the video that he's stepping away from YouTube for a bit and just taking some time to reflect, to learn, to become a better person, and promise that this will never happen again. I'm not one to like glorify the downfall of someone or something. I'm more in the lane of when someone does something wrong, I hope they find a way to rehabilitate, to kind of course correct, and get on a better road and walk down that road instead. So, look, if all of this will ultimately help Dan Allen Gaming, you know, become a better person, to reflect and improve himself, then, you know, I certainly wish him the best on that front. But on a professional note, when it comes to his career and his place in the gaming industry, I don't know what avenues are going to be left open to him when he returns, because of the amount of trust that he violated. You know, what he did here is very serious, and you know, it's not going to be something that's going to go away anytime soon. And as someone who is also the YouTuber who understands...
Yeah, and it's also like, from now on, it's like DSP jerked off on camera 10 years ago. He still can't live that down. You build 100 bridges. You suck one dick. You're not a bridge builder. You're a dick sucker. That's just a fact. That's the way it goes. That's what people are gonna remember.
The amount of work and time investment, and, you know, some of the sacrifices you have to make to really make it in YouTube. Again, I really have to wonder what drives one to risk throwing all of that away, and
it's the power fantasy of it.
Potentially, you know, harming those around him through the ripple effect that his negative actions will have. But, you know, I can't read his mind, and that's for him to work out. For now, this is kind of everything we know about this whole situation. For those who have heard rumblings about this, this is kind of everything you need to know. And yeah, to any other, you know, content creators out there, it's not worth it. Don't do something like this. It's just not good for anyone, really. But that's just one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on this whole Dan Allen Gaming situation, and what your general thoughts are on the place that leaks have in the games industry. I, for one, think that there are certain kinds of leaks that are important when it exposes corruption and the like, when it gives audiences information that companies refuse to give for malicious reasons and whatnot.
That's exactly what I was... Yes,
the types of leaks that just kind of ruin announcements and ruin developers' plans, and just kind of make life hard for everyone for the sake of clout, for the sake of attention. You know, when these leaks didn't really need to happen. Yeah. When these leaks aren't important to be out there, that's where I personally draw the line. That's my take. Share your thoughts below. Yeah. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
That was a good video. I like this one a lot. I think he was pretty fair about it. And I'm really glad to see him talk about what the ripple effect of these negative things are. Because, you know, whenever something like this happens, then everybody else is affected by it too. You know, companies are going to take a step back from identifying and dealing with any of these people. And I just think that's awful. You know, he broke NDAs without any legal action. Most of the time... So, a lot of... I can't say most of the time. There are many times that people break contracts, and the people whose end of the contract gets broken, they don't sue that person because it's not worth it. Like, you have to understand that, like, whenever you file a lawsuit, there's, like, so much time and money and, like, mental energy and emotional energy that goes into filing the lawsuit, talking to a law firm, you know, building a case, going to court, you know, trying to win your side over, like, maybe testifying in court. There's so much fucking work you have to do for something like this. So it's like, unless they want to use this guy as, like, a, you know, to make an example out of him, right? There's no reason for them to do that. Now, if he leaked something that was, like, really damaging for them, or he did it in a way that was damaging, then yes, they probably would do that. However, I think that unless it's something that's like a nuclear thing, they're probably not going to pursue legal action because it's just not in the best interest of the company to do so. It's not going to yield a financial benefit to them. It's not going to aid them in any other kind of way. It's just going to waste their resources, right? And I think that's kind of what I said with, you know, Slicker stealing all that money from people. Is it like, oh, well, can't people sue him? Isn't he going to get in trouble for this? Yeah, maybe he might get in trouble for it, but like the amount of effort that you have to put into to just, what are you, like recouping $400? Like, you're going to be spending $4,000 if you're getting it on sale. You see what I'm saying? And lawyers aren't cheap, and often it's not worth it. Yeah, there you go. You can't get blood out of a stone, the dude isn't loaded. Exactly. And like, yeah, and like, even if you win the case, that's another fact. Is like, even if you win the case, you might not even be able to get the money back from. So you're just totally fucking wasting your time. The amount of, like, you always hear about like lawsuits that are like stupid, but most people, like, whenever there's a contract violation, they just want to work it out between the two of them. Right? Like, they don't want to go to court. Like, most times, neither party's going to want to go to court because that's so much work. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. Sometimes companies want to make an example, though. Yeah, I think that, and that's what I said before. You know, it could be people want to make an example. I'll read a couple of comments here, and then I was going to watch the guy's apology video, but to be honest, I really don't give a fuck what he says. The guy, it seems like he's not really making a bunch of excuses. There's nothing funny probably about it or interesting about it. He's just saying, I fucked up on video, and like, that's it. So like, who cares? I don't want to watch it. Kind of hard to blame developers and YouTubers and make this happen. Yeah, that's true. Now, I do think it's very important to keep in mind that there have been many leaks that happened through content. It's not like YouTubers leak things and people that work at IGN don't. Like, there are leaks that come out of everywhere. It's just that, like, with YouTubers, it's a good and a bad thing that there's every one person involved. Right? Because, like, if you can't trust that person makes a bad decision, there's no checks and balances to it. And also, there's less accountability for it as well. But also, it's good because, you know, if a mistake happens, you know exactly what it is. So it's a bit of both. Let's see here. And Dan Allen is about to be controlled by NDA to retain. Highly doubt that. Hard line between being a whistleblower and a thought tracer. Yeah. I mean, like, it's like, the thing is, even if you want to say, like, it's a little bit gray, like, he's not even near there. He's not a whistleblower at all. The worst part of cloud is he's not in the real world. Well, it's also not translatable to his actual, like, online presence. It's not like, well, what's he going to do for 5 years? You know, just count the possible, mind, and you're like, oh, it's actually really easy to the NDA, so what the fuck's he going to do? No, it's just stupid. It doesn't do anything. It's literally just a power fantasy. Not being able to expose himself to leakers. Yeah, I think you can understand that auto. Exactly. Check out the 12 money drugs on the account. Properly fucking them. Fucking right. Exactly. Let's see here. Probably stepping away from social media. I don't think the guy's going to get sued. As I said before. Some question was Cloud. Cloud popularity. Popularity and respect. To put the Diablo 4. Ironically, now we're gonna have a video about this. So let's go ahead and we'll see what that is and everything else. You say he deleted it because he couldn't handle the hate? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that hate can be really bad. It can be really corrosive to something that it can fuck you up a lot. And so, like, I don't really... I don't sympathize with people. I do sympathize with people a little bit whenever they're, like, unhappy about, like, getting hate on the internet, etc. But it depends on, like, why you're getting hate, too. Like, somebody getting hate for doing something that's, like, just, you know, not socially acceptable. I sympathize with that person a lot more. And it's like, man, I broke the law and everybody's calling me a criminal. What the fuck? It's like, man... That's not cancel culture, that's fucking crime. What are you talking about?
Think you can win? these days. Quick dance. this way.